Why older adults keep waking up at 3 a.m. and what it really means for your health and sleep. It's a phenomenon many older adults experience. The unsettling clarity of waking up at precisely 3 a.m., with sleep stubbornly refusing to return. Lying in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, it's easy to wonder if something is amiss with one's body or mind. However, this early morning awakening is far more common than most people realize, and it's not simply an arbitrary habit that accompanies getting older. This exploration delves into 5 powerful reasons why waking up around 3 a.m. becomes a frequent occurrence as we age, and what these persistent awakenings might be communicating about our overall health and life experiences. Each reason offers a unique insight into our physiology, psychology, and the natural rhythms of aging, often unseen and unacknowledged. By the conclusion of this discussion, there's a strong possibility that your perception of sleep and your early morning awakenings will be viewed in an entirely new and understanding light. These are not superficial explanations. They are grounded in scientific understanding of how our bodies change, the psychological shifts that can occur, and the inherent biological clock that governs our sleep-wake cycles. We will examine the complex interplay of hormonal fluctuations, evolving sleep architecture, emerging health considerations, and the subtle yet significant influences of our emotional and social landscapes. This exploration is presented with honesty, aiming to empower and to deeply respect the journey of life that has led you to this point. If you have ever found yourself adrift in wakefulness at 3 a.m., questioning the cause, you are in the right place. Remaining engaged until the end holds the promise of not only improving your sleep quality, but also fostering a greater understanding and appreciation for the transformations your body is undergoing. One of the most discernible reasons for older adults experiencing midnight awakenings, frequently around 3 a.m., is the natural diminution of melatonin production that accompanies the aging process. Melatonin, often referred to as the body's sleep hormone or internal clock regulator, plays a pivotal role in initiating and maintaining sleep. In younger years, the body typically generates a robust and consistent level of melatonin each night, facilitating prolonged periods of deep, undisturbed rest. However, as age advances, the body's capacity to synthesize this crucial hormone diminishes. This hormonal shift can profoundly impact the quality and continuity of sleep. While one might still fall asleep without difficulty, especially after a demanding day or a tranquil evening, by the early morning hours, typically between 2 and 4 a.m., the endogenous melatonin supply may decrease to a level insufficient to sustain deep sleep. Consequently, you might find yourself waking, not due to an external stimulus or a dream, but because your brain naturally begins to transition toward wakefulness without the adequate melatonin signal to maintain a state of slumber. This is not an indication of personal failing or a sign that your body is malfunctioning. Rather, it is a reflection of the natural changes occurring within your internal chemistry as you age. Furthermore, the sleep environment can exacerbate this effect. Even minimal light exposure, such as from a street lamp, a glowing digital clock, or light seeping from under a door, can further suppress melatonin production. As we age, our bodies tend to become more sensitive to such environmental cues, which can intensify the frustration associated with a 3 a.m. awakening. Consider, for instance, Harold, a spry 72-year-old who has historically prided himself on his robust sleep. Lately, however, he consistently finds himself wide awake around 3:15 a.m., not feeling anxious or distressed, but simply alert, as if the day has already begun. Upon learning that this was not a personal deficiency, but a common physiological consequence of aging related to melatonin, he began to shift his perspective from self-blame to self-care. He now meticulously darkens his bedroom, abstains from screen use for an hour before retiring, and engages in a brief evening walk to reinforce his natural circadian rhythm. These simple adjustments help signal to his body that it is still nighttime. While occasional early awakenings persist, Harold has learned to collaborate with his body's natural tendencies rather than resist them. This understanding can be transformative. When you realize that an early wake-up might be a biological imperative rather than a personal error, you can proactively implement strategies to support your sleep, replacing resentment with self-compassion. This awareness empowers you to make informed choices about your nighttime care. Another significant contributor to older adults waking around 3 a.m. is a natural recalibration of the body's internal clock, a phenomenon identified as advanced sleep phase syndrome. As the human body ages, its circadian rhythms tend to advance, meaning individuals may experience sleepiness earlier in the evening and consequently wake up earlier in the morning. This shift might manifest as dozing off during late-night television programs or finding oneself awake at dawn, even on days when sleeping in would be preferable. This alteration is not merely a matter of ingrained habit, but is fundamentally rooted in our biology and can become more pronounced with each passing year. In earlier life stages, the body's natural inclination aligns with later bedtimes and wake-up times that are more in sync with daylight hours. However, as the circadian rhythm advances, the natural window for sleep shifts forward. It's common to find oneself falling asleep by 9 p.m. or even earlier, unintentionally, which means the body completes its full sleep cycle by the time 3 a.m. arrives. This explains the disconcerting experience of being wide awake in the middle of the night, feeling fully rested even when external darkness persists. It is crucial to understand that this is not indicative of any underlying pathology. It simply signifies that your body is operating on a different temporal schedule. One can visualize this as a clock that has been subtly nudged forward over time, ticking ahead a little more with each passing season. While this shift is not inherently detrimental, it can become a source of frustration if one's daily routines, family commitments, or personal preferences do not readily accommodate this new rhythm. There is also a subtle psychological dimension to this change. Many older adults reside in quieter domestic environments or experience greater periods of solitude. Such tranquil settings can amplify the body's internal cues to wind down earlier in the day. Without the constant environmental stimuli and activity that may have once served to delay bedtime, the body's natural nightly shutdown process can commence much sooner. Furthermore, for those who are no longer engaged in full-time employment or adhering to a rigid daily schedule, the absence of external, temporal markers such as work meetings, commutes, or social engagements can further reinforce this internal shift. Consider Charles, a 68-year-old retiree. He typically partakes in dinner around 5:30 p.m., followed by an hour of television, and retires to bed by 9 p.m. By 3 a.m., his body is biologically prepared to wake. He experiences no feelings of anxiety or stress, only alertness. Initially, he attributed this to insomnia, but upon learning about advanced sleep phase syndrome, he recognized that his sleep was not disrupted, but rather rescheduled. Charles began to adapt his evening habits, extending his waking hours slightly by reading with a warm light, taking a gentle post-dinner stroll, and occasionally engaging in a brief phone call with his daughter before bed. These minor social and sensory interventions helped to subtly elongate his sleep window, thereby shifting his wake-up time closer to the conventional morning hours. The outcome has been a reduction in 3 a.m. awakenings and a greater sense of congruence with his daily life. This natural shift in the sleep cycle is a common experience among many older adults, yet it is rarely discussed. Comprehending this phenomenon can alleviate significant guilt and confusion, offering a more empathetic approach to working with one's body rather than against it. Thus, if you are waking around 3 a.m. and feel as though you have had a complete night's sleep, your body may simply be adhering to an earlier schedule, and awareness of this fact can empower you to shape your routine in ways that enhance your overall well-being. A prevalent reason for older adults experiencing awakenings around the 3 a.m. mark is the body's response to physical discomfort or underlying health issues that tend to manifest during the quiet stillness of the night. As individuals progress through life, the likelihood of encountering chronic conditions or subtle health challenges increases, and many of these conditions possess a capacity to disrupt sleep without signaling alarm bells. They insidiously emerge, such as a tender joint, a distended bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back, which is often sufficient to dislodge one from a state of restorative sleep precisely in the middle of the night. Conditions like arthritis, for instance, can render prolonged stillness in a single position uncomfortable. While this discomfort might not be noticeable upon initial sleep onset, after several hours of inactivity, the accumulated aches can become pronounced enough to rouse the individual. For others, nighttime acid reflux may become a disruptor, particularly if dinner was consumed too late or if reclining occurred too soon after eating. Even seemingly minor issues such as dry mouth, leg cramps, or subtle fluctuations in ambient room temperature can trigger a light awakening in the early morning hours, a time when the body's physiological defenses are already more sensitized and less forgiving than in younger years. One of the most frequent physical triggers for older men waking at 3 a.m. is the urge to urinate. With advancing age, the bladder's elasticity can decrease, leading to a more rapid and frequent sensation of needing to void. While this sensation might be less prominent during the day due to cognitive distractions, in the quietude and darkness of 3 a.m., the urge becomes difficult to ignore. Moreover, the act of getting up and moving, even for a brief trip to the bathroom, can shift the body from a state of deep rest to one of light alertness, making the return to sleep more challenging. The issue of medication also warrants consideration, as many older adults regularly take pharmaceuticals for conditions such as hypertension, cardiac health, or pain management. These medications can carry side effects that include increased urinary frequency, alterations in body temperature regulation, or heightened sensitivity to auditory or visual stimuli, all of which can subtly impact sleep patterns. The connection between medication and sleep disturbances may not always be immediately apparent, often requiring external observation or diligent personal tracking of habits. Consider, for example, Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who has consistently been a relatively light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking up with regularity around 3:30 a.m. After months of attributing this to the natural course of aging, she consulted her physician, who identified that one of her prescribed medications was influencing her hydration levels, thereby increasing her nighttime need to urinate. With her doctor's guidance, she adjusted the timing of her dosage and incorporated certain lifestyle modifications, resulting in fewer nighttime awakenings and a more facile return to sleep when they do occur. The paramount takeaway here is that these physical awakenings are not indicators of bodily failure, but rather signals of the body's ongoing functionality. It is responding, alerting, and adapting. These signals can serve as invaluable guides toward improved health management, more informed decision-making, and a deepened sense of trust in one's own body's communication. While waking at 3 a.m. may feel inconvenient, it can also be a subtle prompt to attend to oneself, to conduct an internal check-in, and to implement minor adjustments that foster enhanced health and more profound rest. Another potent, yet frequently overlooked reason for older adults finding themselves awake at 3 a.m. resides in the cumulative impact of long-standing daily habits, subtle routines, and conscious choices that, over time, gradually reconfigure one's internal biological rhythm. Many older adults naturally begin to dine earlier, engage in more passive evening activities, and experience a reduction in overall physical exertion throughout the day. These seemingly minor lifestyle adjustments can cumulatively signal to the body that the nocturnal period should commence earlier, which, in turn, inevitably leads to an earlier wake-up time. When daily life becomes more quiescent, particularly following retirement, the body ceases to receive the consistent external cues it once relied upon, such as the demands of commuting, running errands, or participating in physically or mentally stimulating pursuits. In the absence of these external anchors, the body's sleep-wake cycle may begin to drift progressively forward. A calm, dimly illuminated evening, characterized by minimal sensory input, can prompt the brain to release melatonin earlier, fostering sleep before one is even cognizant of the time. Once sleep commences earlier, the body naturally concludes its restorative processes earlier as well, often resulting in awakenings during the pre-dawn hours, frequently around the 3 a.m. juncture. Furthermore, a subtle interplay exists between the timing of food consumption and sleep quality. Consuming dinner early, while generally beneficial for health, can sometimes lead to a dip in blood sugar levels overnight, especially if no light snack is consumed before bed. This slight hypoglycemia may not register as overt hunger, but can still rouse the body from sleep. Similarly, caffeine, even when ingested in the early afternoon, can persist in the system, particularly as metabolic rates slow with age. This lingering stimulant can subtly lighten sleep, rendering one more susceptible to waking at any minor disturbance. For individuals like Walter, a 74-year-old who recently retired, these lifestyle shifts occurred incrementally. His days became less structured and his evenings more relaxed. He found himself eating supper around 5 p.m., often dozing off in his recliner during the evening news, and retiring to bed before 9 p.m. most nights. Unbeknownst to him, his entire daily rhythm had advanced by several hours. Before long, he began waking at approximately 3 a.m., puzzled by his state of wakefulness long before the sun rose. Upon reflection of his altered routine, Walter began implementing subtle adjustments. He incorporated a brief afternoon walk, engaged in reading under brighter illumination during the evening, and consciously avoided naps after dinner. These modifications served to gently nudge his natural sleep window slightly later, allowing his body to settle into a rhythm that more closely aligned with his desired wake-up time. It is remarkable how frequently we overlook the profound influence of routine. Our bodies thrive on regularity, on daily patterns that function as signals, informing the brain when it is time to rest and when it is time to be active. As these signals weaken or shift, the internal biological clock can lose its precise calibration, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. However, by attentively observing these patterns and making thoughtful adaptations, it is possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep cycle that feels more restorative and less prone to disruption. Finally, the experience of waking at 3 a.m. can sometimes be less a consequence of physiological mechanisms and more a manifestation of emotional and psychological restlessness. As individuals mature, emotional layers that may have been previously suppressed by the demands and distractions of daily life can begin to surface in the stillness of the night. These early morning hours, when the world is largely dormant and external stimuli are minimal, often become the stage upon which unspoken worries, lingering regrets, or quiet longings come to the forefront. One might find themselves lying awake, not due to any physical discomfort or auditory disturbance, but because their mind is silently processing memories, unresolved thoughts, or subtle anxieties that were not consciously acknowledged during the day. This form of restlessness differs from the acute anxiety experienced in youth. It is more subdued, more contemplative. It can feel like a faint, persistent hum in the background, a sense that something is unsettled, even if one cannot precisely articulate the source. The human mind, when not actively engaged in external tasks, naturally gravitates toward internal reflection. This can involve revisiting past relationships, reevaluating past decisions, contemplating losses endured, or pondering words left unspoken. Because the body is no longer rushing through a series of daily responsibilities, there emerges a greater temporal and mental space for these internal dialogues to resonate more strongly. It is also vital to acknowledge the potential role of loneliness in this phenomenon. For many older adults, social networks may contract over time as children relocate, friends become occupied with their own lives, and established routines undergo transformation. While the daytime might be filled with light and activity, the arrival of night ushers in quietude, and with it, a heightened awareness of any perceived emotional void. This type of loneliness may not always manifest as a heavy burden. It can simply present as a longing for connection or a faint ache for companionship when the household is silent. Consider, for instance, Gloria, an 80-year-old widow. During the day, she maintains an active schedule, tending her garden, conversing with her grandchildren, and enjoying her favorite television programs. However, around 3 a.m., she frequently finds herself waking, her thoughts drifting to cherished moments shared with her late husband, or to worries she has set aside during daylight hours. Initially, she believed her sleep was fundamentally disturbed, but over time, she came to understand that her early awakenings were not solely about sleep itself, but were, in essence, her heart's way of seeking attention and acknowledgement. To cope, Gloria began keeping a small journal beside her bed. Upon waking, she sometimes records whatever is occupying her mind, without pretense or judgment, simply jotting down a few honest thoughts. She also integrated a tranquil evening ritual, such as listening to soothing music or composing a brief note to a friend. These small acts of reflection and connection provide a gentle outlet for her emotions, easing her mind and facilitating a more peaceful return to sleep. The undeniable truth is that the human heart does not adhere to a rigid timetable. It remembers what it desires to remember, poses the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes undertakes these introspective processes at 3 a.m. when the external world is at its quietest. Rather than viewing this as a deficit, it can be seen as an indication of profound depth and lived experience. If you find yourself waking and experiencing such reflective moments, it may signify the presence of wisdom ready for acknowledgement. You have navigated the spectrum of joys and heartbreaks, and these experiences shape not only your memories but your very identity. Instead of perceiving these awakenings as problems to be solved, consider approaching them with curiosity and compassion. What is your mind endeavoring to communicate? What aspects of yourself require vocalization? Which part of you is seeking a measure of grace, even in the quiet darkness? Often, the most meaningful form of rest arises not from suppressing these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may discover not only improved sleep, but also a richer, more profound understanding of yourself within this current stage of life. As we conclude this exploration, take a moment for quiet contemplation of the insights shared. Which of these 5 reasons resonated most deeply with you? Was it the subtle shifts in your internal biological clock, the gradual changes in your physical well-being, or perhaps something more profound, an emotional rhythm that only emerges when the external world has fallen silent? Each of these explanations offers a distinct perspective for comprehending your early morning awakenings, and none suggest anything is fundamentally wrong or broken. In fact, each illustrates the remarkable, ongoing capacity of your body and mind to function, to respond, and to adapt as you navigate this phase of life. There is a quiet strength to be found in understanding what your body is trying to convey, particularly in those hushed hours before dawn. Instead of viewing 3 a.m. awakenings as an annoyance, you might begin to perceive them as gentle messages, subtle prompts to listen more attentively to your needs, your habits, and the stirrings of your heart. You are not alone in this experience, nor are you the sole individual seeking answers. However, with greater understanding comes increased resilience, and with resilience, the freedom to implement small, meaningful changes that foster better rest, enhanced comfort, and a more robust connection to your own inherent rhythms. If any of these explanations have struck a chord with you today, recognize that you are not merely aging, you are evolving. And with this evolution comes an opportunity to rest with greater intention, to nurture yourself with gentler care, and to greet each morning with a deeper sense of understanding and inner peace. Thank you for joining us today. We sincerely value your engagement and would be delighted to hear from you. Please leave a comment below sharing one key takeaway from this video and how you intend to integrate it into your life. Your insights are invaluable to us, so do not hesitate to share them. Reading your comments provides us with immense motivation and encouragement to continue producing informative and inspiring content. If you found this video beneficial and insightful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others. Your support is instrumental in enabling us to create more valuable content designed to inform and inspire. Thank you for watching. We eagerly anticipate your presence in our future videos.